Hi, welcome to Gary's Hobby Studio, and in this video I'm going to review the Badger Krome Airbrush that I just got recently. And basically it was during their Badger's happy birthday sale. They usually do that once a year. And the brush is really nice, especially I tested it out a little bit, and I'll show you the test that I did. It has a 0.21 millimeter needle nozzle combination, so it's for really fine detail, which I'm hoping to eventually get to that. I mean, right now I'm still kind of priming base coating type, but I do want to progress into that, and I feel that I will be progressing into that soon, especially with the Marvel Crisis Protocol games and some other games too. So let's get started with the review. So here's how it came in. It didn't come in a plastic box like it normally, or the box, because there's been other reviews out there, but this is because of the birthday and sale, and this is how they come in. It's a really nice, I don't know if it's real leather or if it's one of that fake leather stuff. But here's the airbrush, and it comes with the instruction guide for it. That it tells you about how to replace the paint seal ring and some other stuff, maintenance and troubleshooting. And it has the parts breakdown list, and this is basically how it normally would come, is in a box. But because it's during the birthday sale, and because you get it cheap, I mean, you get it for how old the guy is. I can't think of his name off the top of my head right at the moment, but I mean, still, that's not bad, really. And there's other ways to store these. I mean, you could get a foam case from which is what I have, that stores all my airbrushes in, from Harbor Freight, and especially if you get like the 25% off coupon and that, which is really fantastic. So, but here's the airbrush here. It comes with a rubber cup. I don't think they make a metal one. I might see if I can find one for it. I prefer the metal over this, but I'll live with it for now. But it has a rubber seal for the color cup, and it has a limiter here in the back that you can adjust the travel movement here. So, like, as you can see, I have it where it doesn't go all the way back, and if I spin this out a little more, like so, and as you can see, I can pull it way back, and it doesn't even really hit there because it stops because of the body. It has a nice finger rest here, which actually feels really good when I've held it and tested it out. So I really like that. I bought the quick disconnect for it because I picked up, it was clearance at Michael's, one of the Badger hoses that would screw onto this, because it has a small diameter, as opposed to, I have my Iwata here for comparison, and as you can tell, they're definitely two different sizes. And interestingly enough, the connector part here that goes into the quick disconnect part, it actually will go into the Iwata one too. So that's actually nice, because this way, if I happen to be working with that hose first and I want to use the Badger, I can easily just pop it out, pop it in, and it works. I do recommend the quick disconnects for these, because it just makes connecting and disconnecting it so much easier. But I bought the the Badger one for it to screw onto that. Again, makes things really easy. It comes with a protective cap on it, the front, because this particular one isn't like the Iwata, where the needle is kind of submerged because of the protective cone-shaped cup that is on the end of this one. This one has two prongs to help protect, like when you're airbrushing, that you don't bang the needle into whatever it is, because you would hit one of the prongs first before hitting the needle. And this will protect it, and I will always make sure I hang on to this. I'm sure I could probably order another one if need be. But to tear it apart, which I'll take it apart some, but not all the way, is you have to take that adjuster out, and then you can take this part off, so that then you can loosen this to pull the needle out. And like I said, that's a 0.21 millimeter needle nozzle combination, and then you would just take the rest of it apart. It's pretty much about the same as everything else. Their trigger design is a little different than the Iwata's. The Iwata's has a little piece that flaps around that's connected to the trigger part. The trigger part for the Badger, it's all one piece. It doesn't it does not have that where you have to fiddle with it to try to get it back down inside, which is nice. I like that way better than this. And just got to be careful. Because you definitely don't want to split anything. And I need to get Badger's needle juice for this here. I may even use it for the Iwata's too, to lube it up from what I've seen online. And just take that. And I'm going to adjust it down to where I normally have it. A little bit more. Okay, that should be where I had it. But all in all, it's a really nice airbrush. When I did the test painting with it, which I'll bring that over, and I noticed that it's still clogged because of the paint drying, but it wasn't as bad as the Iwata. So I don't know if there's other issues with these besides, and I'll get to the issue, which is why I need to send it in to get it looked at and possibly repaired. There's a couple places like right here, and definitely right here where I had to really pull on the trigger to get it to come out. And I have a feeling that it maybe because I'm still not thinning my paints. I'm getting better at it, but I'm not getting it down to where it should be. But I'm not saying it didn't clog up a little bit, and eventually it, you know, like I said, it freed itself up by me working the needle back and forth. But here's like another spot here. I don't know how well you'll be able to see it because of my cameras and everything. But that, you know, there's a few other spots there, and I used both sides, and here's another one here. And I mean, as you could tell, everything was working really good with it. I mean, I was getting some really thin lines. My hand's not that steady, as you can tell by the weaving pattern of it. But it's, like I said, all in all, it's a really nice airbrush. And I think it's just more I have to learn, and probably maybe with the Iwatas too, I have to learn to thin them better to get it to work properly. To probably get a 0.2 needle in an Iwata is probably way more expensive than I want to pay the money. This one was really good. It was, I believe, $56 plus... Yeah, because it cost me like $70, so it was like $14 shipping. And I will let you know now, if you order it and if you don't order it in November when their thing, which now I know, and that's why I'm presenting it to you. If you don't order it in November for first in line, you're pretty much got to wait. And like I said, I got this maybe a week or two ago, something like that. So I've had it for a little bit, but just didn't really have a lot of time. I haven't really painted anything because, you know, I'm trying to practice control with the trigger and everything, and that's why I bought this. I think it's watercolor paper from. Oh, it's an Acrylic Artist Pad. It's from Royal Langnickel. I got this at Joann Fabrics. It was cheap. I think it was like $10 or something like that. I can't remember the exact price, but definitely go on that and do like Acrylic Artist Pad, and you should find it. But this is what I use to spray with, because it comes with like 22 sheets, and believe me, it's definitely worth it, especially if you want to practice. I recommend that to anybody out there that is a first-time airbrush user and they want to practice with it. Don't use regular printer paper because the stuff's going to just seep right through it. This stuff here is a little thicker. Like I said, I think it was like 10 bucks or so, and believe me, it's well worth the money. 22 sheets, because there were some other ones that was like way more expensive, and they had less sheets, and it's like, no, that's not what I want. But this way here, you know, you can test the lines, and you can try to do the dots, try to see how small of a dot you can make with it. The two things I'm going to try, because there was a Vallejo video where they were showing how to use the Mecha Color primers and stuff like that, and the guy was doing 2 drops of paint to 1 drop thinner and 1 drop flow improver, which is how I started to get them actually mixed, because I was using this golden fluid acrylic paint to break it down. What I'm thinking about trying is either 2 drops airbrush thinner to every drop of paint, or I may switch the thinner for airbrush medium, or in the case of this other stuff, high flow medium from Golden. I picked this up again whenever Packetans was going out of business, and depending upon what I can get to work, you know, that's probably what I'm going to use, because I mean, both of these are really fluid, especially the Liquitex airbrush medium. Plus I also have Goldens too. I'm sure it's probably the same stuff, just, you know, rebranded different names. But basically, I'm thinking about, I may try the thinner increase, and to, you know, like I said, like, you know, every 1 drop of paint to 2 drops thinner, and then just 1 drop flow improver per 2 drops of paint like before, because you don't want to add too much of this, because I accidentally did some flow improver to paint, and it will just turn it into water if too much of this gets mixed in. So basically that's my next test concoctions and stuff like that. Again, for anybody that's practicing airbrushing first time, I definitely recommend the pads. Not to, I mean, if you're priming, that's one thing. You can just load up and just, you know, go at it without a problem. Definitely make sure you read the containers for the primer, like the Stynylrez. It says on there, you know, it needs to be a 0.4 millimeter nozzle or larger to use this. Which I have run it through my Iwata. I have run it through the Iwata Eclipse, and it gave me a little bit of problems, and it's a 0.35, so it's definitely smaller than what it is. I have run it through the Revolution that I have, and it's the same thing. It still gives me problems, and that one's a 0.5. I probably won't use that primer for this, but I may try this, because on here it says that you can run it, and I'm trying to find the English wording for this, but I read somewhere that it's that you could run this in a 0.2 size, so that would be this, and I think it was on their site. But I want to double check it, and like I said, I'll give it a shot. Worst case scenario is it doesn't work, and then I have to not do that. But I definitely want to try to get the thinning right, because like I said, not only do I want to use the Iwatas, but I also want to use the Badger too for things. And depending upon how well this works, I may end up buying maybe like their Patriot 105. I believe that should have either a 0.3 or a 0.5 nozzle. I'll have to verify that before, because like I said, I'm looking to do base coating, and I want, you know, like I said, a 0.4 or larger to handle the primer, so I don't have problems. But all in all, this is a really nice, like I said, from what I've done so far, and like I said, it clogged less. It wasn't perfect. I don't expect anything to be perfect. I do expect things to go wrong. A, because it's me, but B, it's because that, you know, if you're not using it correctly, you know, things will happen. That's just the way everything works. There's people out there know how to do it. It's been doing it for years. Like I said, I've been mostly priming and base coating. So, you know, I've had some experience with this stuff. It's just that basically, you know, it's just you got to get used to it. I am getting used to it. It's taken me a while because I'm learning. But like I said, I wanted to try this, and it was fairly inexpensive to get it during their happy birthday. Instead of paying like $100 and some for this, it's, like I said, $70, and that's with shipping. You know, that's not bad. And this coming year, it'll be $57 plus whatever they charge for shipping at the time, whether it's another $14 or if it's, you know, $15 or, you know, whatever. But basically, you know, if you're looking for a fine detail brush, this is definitely going to be something that I'm hoping is going to do what I want, which I'm sure it will, especially once my skill improves. But other than that, that's really all I have to say about this. And don't be afraid to try anything. I mean, believe me, I was afraid to do it. I mean, I turned 50 this year, and I've been afraid of my own shadow a lot. Don't be. Painting stuff like this may look intimidating to you, and believe me, it was definitely intimidating to me when I first did it. But I decided, you know, I don't want my figures to look all gray and plasticky. So, and yes, I'm not the fastest painter in the world, believe me. I'm still dealing with my wife's dead-eye walkers. And plus, not only that, but with other, you know, with life in general and other things that need to be done, you know, not everything gets done when it should. But yeah, definitely don't be afraid to you know, like I said, if you want your stuff to look good, you know, take the time, you know. I've been doing it for a while, and my speed still hasn't increased because I'm not that steady. But yeah, definitely don't be afraid. Okay, go out there, buy the games you want. Like I said, if you need help with color selection, you know, look for videos. YouTube is so full of videos on people that have been painting different figures, from The Walking Dead All-Out War to Doom the board game to Imperial Assault. I mean, there's many people that do it. Zombicide Green Horde, there's plenty of people that do that. Marvel's Crisis Protocol, between Atomic Mass Games and Sarastro, they are, you know, they're showing you a lot, like how to assemble them, plus how to paint them, or what they're painting, and, you know, it can give you any ideas if you look at pictures online. Okay, and the issue that I'm having with Iwata airbrushes is that for some reason it makes a really weird click sound when you just depress the trigger down, not pull it back after you depress it, just in the initial press. It makes a weird clicking sound, where the Badger, it's smoother. It's a really smooth depress. I mean, it's smooth pulling it back. All three Iwatas that I have, they're smooth pulling back the trigger to release paint at however. But for some reason it's that click, and I figure, okay, well, maybe that's what it is. But see, to me, it sticks. So sometimes when I was doing the test pages on that, it would stick and continue, you know, and I'm releasing the air, and it's still firing where it shouldn't. So I just, you know, and yeah, part of it's control, because whenever I just, like, let up on it, and it kind of slams. So more than likely, that's part of the reason why extra paint gets shot out at the thing. I have to learn to, you know, control it, but it kind of doesn't release quickly when you let up on the pressure on it. So I'm going to have to send this one and the Revolution into Iwata to see if they need repaired, or maybe they might be able to clean them up and get them lubed up and stuff like that. I mean, I'll probably clean it before I send it in, just to make sure there's no paint. And they go, oh well, you know, we found paint. But yeah, that's pretty much the plan for these. And as I always like to say, stay safe, everybody, and have a good day.